Receivable. Notes receivable are claims supported by formal promises to pay in the form of notes. So I think I already gave an overview of this last time. We differentiate accounts receivable and notes receivable. Accounts receivable are just the typical utang, okay? Palista, mo na ginatawag na on account. But notes receivable on the other hand is something more secured maybe, and it is something more formal than accounts receivable because you have this kasulatan kumbaga, no, you have this contract, or not necessarily a contract, but the maker or the one who gives the note has this promise. Okay, I think you're familiar with notes, promissory note, 'di ba, sa business office. So you are making a note or a letter or a promise to pay a certain amount on a certain date. Okay, so we call it a notes receivable, and a receivable that is written in a note, or it is more formal because it is in a form of a note. So we have two parties here, the maker katong utangan nga mo'y nagbuhat og promissory note, and the payee, or the person nga maoy bayaran sa katong tao nga giutangan. Okay? And in our point of view this time is kita ang payee. Kita tong naay singlonon. Okay? Iba naman yung note payable. Kita pod ang maker adto nga adto na situation. But this time we are the payee. Tayo yung babayaran ng customer natin in the form um or tayo yung babayaran ng customer natin evidenced by the utang in the form of notes. Okay? So, konyo-konyo na, no? English, Bisaya. Okay. Now, standing alone, the term notes receivable according to our standards, these represent only those claims arising from the sale of merchandise or service. Or simply put, this is a receivable in connection with the normal operation of the business. Okay? So, um what happens, ma'am, if nakabutang dito sa ako ang note na mubayad ko on January 3, for example, 2021, but on January 3, 2021, hindi ko nabayaran ang utang. Okay? Your receivable or my receivable from you will no longer be called notes receivable, but instead mo baba ang iyahang level because this time hindi na siya masyadong secured. It will now be considered as accounts receivable. Okay? Kasi naglapse na ang time nga imong gibut or ang period nga imong gibutang dito sa imong promissory note. Therefore, looking at your note, hindi na siya reliable. Okay? Kasi naglapse na nga yung period. So, paano mo pa masasabing you promised to pay on January 3 when on January 3 hindi ka naman nabayad? So, magiging irrelevant na yung notes and magiging accounts receivable na lang siya. Okay, so that's the definition of notes receivable, and the recognition is, of course, this is an asset, and generally this is a current asset, and the measurement of this is just like your accounts receivable. It is um it is initially measured at present value, but if it is a current asset, the present value actually is the face value of the note receivable. Pero if this is long-term asset, it depends if it is interest-bearing or non-interest bearing, and we are going to discuss that later. And just like your other assets, subsequent measurement is amortization or amortized cost. So we are going to consider how to amortize such an asset. Paki-off po ng audio dun sa iba na hindi naka-off. Okay? So, let's proceed this time to problem 6-1. And we have here feasible company. And we are required to prepare journal entries for 2019, 2020, and 2021. So we have here feasible company sold to another entity a tract of land costing 5 million for 7 million on January 1, 2019. The buyer paid 1 million down and signed a 2-year promissory note. So nangyayari kasi itong notes receivable, mas nagiging applicable siya for those amounts na medyo malaki-laki, unlike the accounts receivable na hindi masyadong kalakihan yung inutang ni customer. Pero pagdating kay notes, this is more secured, or this is more applicable on in terms of utang, okay, na mas dako og amount. So just like this, abot na siya milyones. So we have here 7 million. The buyer paid 1 million as down payment and signed a 2-year promissory note for the remainder. Okay, then there is a 12% interest compounded annually. The note matures on January 1, 2021, and that is 2021, 2 years, sakto. So let us prepare journal entries. Let's begin on January 1, 2019, and we received cash, tama? We received cash in the amount of 1 million. And we also received notes receivable in the amount of the excess, which is 6 million. Bakit naging 6 million? Kasi you have your 5 million cost of land. That's 5. So we are going to eliminate the asset at its book value. And nakalagay doon na, though hindi niya sinabi kung magkano yung book value, but since may sinabi siyang cost, then we will assume that that is the book value of our asset. And we sold it for 7 million. So kung nakay asset nga 5 million ang book value, gibaligya nimo og 7, then syempre ginansyado ka og 2 million, right? And we call it gain on sale of land. And that is again 2 million. And out of the 7 million, 1 million lang imong gidown, the rest naka notes receivable. That's going to be our entry for January 1, 2019. Then let's proceed to December. Okay. Let's proceed to December 31, 2019. This time, hindi pa nagbayad si client. Okay? Sabi niya lang, the note matures on January 2021. So, hindi niya sinabing magbabayad siya annually. So, let's assume that the contract is a lump sum payment. So, babayaran niya yung buong note on January 2021. But, we are applying the accrual basis of accounting for December 31, 2019. That's the end of our reporting period. Of course, we benefited an income for a certain period, that's 1 year, and that income is what we call our interest income. Okay, so we do not record interest income didto na sa kung kanus siya magbayad. Okay, accrual accounting says you record income if it is earned, and you record expense if it is accrued. And this time, na-earn na nato ang income kasi 1 year na siya nag-lapse. Although, wala tayong na-receive na money kasi January 1, 2021 niya pa babayaran. So, we are going to record it as accrued interest receivable. Okay? And how much? Now, we are going to compute that one. That is 6 million. Okay? 6 million times 12%. And that's it. And I believe that's 720,000. Tama? Okay. So why 6 million? We do not base our interest on the whole sales price, which is 7 million. Dito lang ta mag-base kung pila lang iyang outstanding na utang. So hindi sa 7 million kasi bayad na nga yung 1 million. So syempre dito ra ka sa utang maghatag og tubo, right? The typical recognition of our interest. And this time, we are now in 12/31/2020. That's another year na naglapse, okay? Wala pa gihapon siya nagbayad. So, I believe that is our entry for that day. But this time, the question is, how much? Sabi niya, 12% interest compounded annually. So, ang mangyayari dyan, your 12% interest will not base on 6 million this time, but that's 6,720,000. Asa gikan ng 720 katoy mo ang interest last year gi-add siya sa principal kasi sinabi niya compounded annually. So, doing the math, we will have 806,400. So that's 6.72 million times 12%. Okay? So, ayan. Again, hindi niya na naman binayaran. So, magiging accrued interest receivable na naman siya. But on January 1, 2021, right? That is cash kasi nagbayad na siya. And then we're going to eliminate the notes receivable in full kasi nagbayad na din siya. Hindi niya naman sinabing hindi siya nakapagbayad. And what else? The accrued interest receivable. Babayaran niya din on that day. And that is 720,000 plus 806,400. A total of 156,400. And if you're going to add the two, ang babayaran niya in full is 7,526,400. So that will be our entries from January 1, 2019 to January 1, 2021. Okay? So, I think, yes, ma'am, na I echo. Hantod karon na abag gihapon. Okay. So, let's proceed to the next problem. We have 6-2 and we have bygone. Is it bygone or bygone? We are required to prepare journal entries for the current year only. So we have Bygone Company manufactures and sells computers on January 1, 2019. The entity sold a computer costing 400 for 600. So, looking at the figures, makaingon ka nga ka lang, naatay gunan siya. Okay? From 400, gibaligyan na to 600. So, makaginan siya to 200. Now, let's go to the second paragraph. The buyer signed a non-interest-bearing note for 600,000 payable in 3 equal installments. Installment siya this time. Unlike the first problem, lump sum, isang bagsakan lang yung pagbayad niya. Every December 31. The cash selling price of the computer is 540,000. Actually, yung mga sinasabi nilang non-interest bearing 0% interest, di yan totoo. Okay? So, let's be skeptic enough na there's no such thing as 0% interest in this world. Unless kung magbabayad ka bukas, then siguro ba konsensya naman yung friend mo na magbigay ng interest. But the 0% interest actually not true. Asa man gikuha ang interest naa na didto sa sales price, gipatong na niya didto actually ang interest without you knowing. Okay? So, what do I mean by that? Looking at the problem, you have 400, gibaligya ni mog 600, but actually, the cash selling price of the computer is 540,000 only. That means na kung imo nang gipalit ang kana nga equipment for cash, okay, hindi utang, magbabayad ka lang sana ng 540,000. But since inutang mo, kaya siya naging 600,000. And the difference is 60,000, which is actually the implied interest. So, it's not true na non-interest bearing siya. So, it has 60%, 60,000 implied or naka-built in na interest. And how are we going to record that one? So, wala siyang down payment. So, that would be notes receivable kaagad. And then, your credit will be sales. And your interest income. We call it unearned interest income. Unearned in the sense na hindi mo pa siya na-earn from the term itself. Now, why sales, ma'am? Why not computer yung naka-credit? Unlike in our first problem. Kasi sabi dun sa first problem, balikan natin. In 6-1, sabi niya, the entity sold a tract of land. Ibig sabihin, yung land na yan is just a typical asset of the company. Mura siya, non-occurring event. Hindi naman from time to time nagbebenta ka ng land unless you're a real estate entity, 'di ba? Hindi siya recurring na event. Like once in a blue moon ka lang magbebenta ng land. So that's why we credited the asset itself, yung typical or ordinary asset na ginagamit or the capital asset na ginagamit ng company. Unlike in 6-2, this is the usual way or the ordinary course of business. Yung company nagma-manufacture tsaka nagbebenta din ng computers. Hindi niya typical na asset yung computer. Instead, inventory niya to. Ito talaga yung ginagawa niya, selling, manufacturing, and selling computers. Unlike in problem 1, walang nangyayari doon na meron siyang buying and selling of land. Okay? Kaya kinredit natin agad si land. But this time, since it is the normal operation of the business, we credited sales, which will eventually decrease the inventory of the company, and that inventory are the computers na minamanufacture niya. Okay? Bear that in mind. And another thing, gain on sale of land. That's our 6-1. So, that happens because hindi nga kasi yun ordinary course ng business. Kaya, kinikredit natin siya dun sa gain on sale of land, and that will be considered as other income in your financial statement or specifically your income statement. Okay? That gain on sale of land. Whereas, dito naman sa notes receivable, hindi tayo nag-gain on sale. Instead, meron tayong kinredit na unearned interest income, which will eventually ma-earn natin siya. Although it is still other income, pero mako-consider siya na in relation to our sale of inventory. Okay? So, we are required to prepare journal entries for the year. And then, yan, naglag na naman ng laptop ko. So, notes receivable, we have 600. Inutang niya for 600. Although yung sales naman doon is 540,000 lang. And your implied interest there is 60,000. Okay? So, what else? On December 31, nagbayad siya kasi installment yung term. Hindi siya lump sum. So, that's 12/31/2019. We received, let's see, the buyer signed a non-interest for 600 payable in 3 equal installments. So, magbabayad siya ng 200,000. Okay, so we have cash. And then we have notes receivable. Magbabayad siya ng 200,000 kasi sabi niya 3 equal annual installments. So what happens in your unearned interest here? Of course, kasi naglapse na yung 1 year, you are going to earn that interest. So this time, it will be credited to interest income with a debit to unearned interest income. But the question is, how much? Ma'am, wala siyang binigay na rate. So how would we know, ma'am, na this will be the amount of the income? So we are going to use the outstanding balance method. And in the outstanding balance method, you have it there in the PDF also that I sent to you. You will consider kung ilan yung outstanding na notes receivable for the period. So let's just say in 2019 you have 2019 here, you have 2020, ayan, and you have 2021. Kasi 3 years lang naman. And then you have notes receivable outstanding. As of 2019, yung buong 600,000 pa lang yung outstanding. And on 2020, you have the 400. Why 400, ma'am? Kasi magbabayad na siya ng 200,000 at the end of 2019. So for 2020, ang magiging outstanding na lang is 400. And on 2021, kasi magbabayad ka na naman ng 200 at the end of 2020, your outstanding is 200,000 na lang. For 2022, of course, wala ka nang babayaran kasi magbabayad ka na at the end of 2021 ng remaining 200. So, outstanding balances each year. And then, that we are going to add that one, and that would be, I guess, 1.2 million, right? And then let's consider the fraction, or how much of the 1.2 million will go to 2019. Grabe, mag-underline lang. Mag-lag ang kong laptop. Sige. But anyway, that's 1.2 million, right? So for 2019, that is 600,000 divided by 1.2 million. So para mapakita natin ha. Sana mag-cooperate na yung laptop ko, no? So that is 600,000 divided by 1.2 million. And hindi siya kasi naka-fraction. So, kung naka-fraction siya, that is 1 over 2. Okay, that's 1 half. Ito namang isa, 400 divided by 1.2 million, that's 1 over 3. Okay, so that's 1 over 3. And the last one, that's 200 divided by 1.2 million, that is 1 over 6, I believe. Okay, so yan yung magiging fraction ng rate na papunta sa each year. And our interest in total is 600,000. So, ayan siya. Yung 60,000 na interest in total will be distributed sa each year. And that 60,000 will be multiplied by the fraction, which is 1.2, and that is 30,000, I believe. Tama? That's 60 times 1 divided by 2, that's 30,000. And that will go to year 2019, yung 30,000. Okay? So if we're going to compute the remaining years, so that's again 60,000 times 1 divided by 3, 20,000 interest will be earned on 2021, and the remaining 10,000 will go to, ayan, naglag siya, will go to 2021. Okay, so the same entries pa rin at the end of each year. That's debit, cash, credit notes receivable of 200, unearned interest income, credit interest income of 20,000 for year 2020, and 10,000 for year 2021. So that's 6-2. So let's proceed to 6-3. I am going to give 6-4. 6-3 will be a drill. So I will give you the opportunity to test or to assess your understanding. Let's proceed to 6-4. Now in 6-4, there are new terms here. Okay, so we have Gullible. Gullible Company is a dealer in equipment. If you could see, dealer in equipment, that means it is an ordinary course of the business na magbenta ng equipment. Okay? So you're going to expect a credit of sales, hindi yung asset. Kasi ito yung normal operation niya. On December 31, 2019, the entity sold an equipment in exchange for a non-interest bearing note requiring 5 annual payments of 500,000. Oh, 500 per year for 5 years. So that would be a total of 2.5 million, right? The first payment was made on December 31, 2020. So that's 1 year after the date of sale. The market interest for similar notes was 8%. And we have here the present value factor. So if you have your mathematics of investment, do you already have your mathematics of investment? You're going to encounter this present value factors, your ordinary annuity, and etc. Okay, we are going to prepare journal entries for 2019, 2020, and that's it. And we're going to determine the carrying amount for 2020 and the interest income for 2021. So let's start. On December 31, 2019, we are going to record the sale, and that's notes receivable on debit kasi walang cash na binigay. And we have sales. How much is the notes receivable? Sabi niya, 500,000 ka daw 500,000 yung babayaran mo for 5 years. That's 2.5 in total, 'di ba? And then we have sales. How much is the sale? That is something na hindi niya binigay. So we are going to compute that one. Sabi niya, the market interest for similar notes was 8%. Di ba I mentioned kanina na the initial measurement of your notes receivable is actually the present value. For short-term notes receivable, yung present value, yun na yung face value. So, ibig sabihin, itong 2.5, yan na din yung magiging initial measurement ng notes receivable mo. But, if your notes receivable is interest-bearing, not non-interest bearing, you are going to consider the implicit interest there, and we already have it kanina. What if it is interest bearing, which is an example of it is this. The market interest for to Boom Company. Ay, bakit remarkable? Kita man day si remarkable. So, Boom di ay ni siya. To Boom Company. For 4 million under an installment sale. Boom made a 1.2 cash. Nag-down siya na 2 million. So, our entry for July 1 would be cash of 2 million. I mean, 1.2. And the excess or the remaining balance is utang, evidenced by a promissory note. So, that's 4 million. Okay, sinabi niya pala doon. That's 2.8. And then, it made a 1.2 cash down payment on July 1, 2019 and signed a 4-year 10% note for the 2.8 balance. So again, explicitly sinabi niyan 10%, so this is interest bearing. The equal annual payments of principal and interest on the note totaled 880,000. Payable on July 1 of each year from 2020 through 2023. Okay, then the fair value of the land was 4 million and the cost was 3 million. So kung ano yung naging cost niya, we are going to assume na yun ang book value. So just like the first problem that we encountered. And this time hindi siya credited to sales kundi credited to land kasi hindi naman yung normal operation ang magbenta ng lupa. And eliminate the cost from your book. So, wala na tayong land kasi binenta na natin in the amount of 4 million. And we call it again our gain on sale of land. So, that's 3 million. Binenta ng 4 million. That's 1 million gain. Okay? Then, sinabi niya, signed a 4-year 10%. Okay. Magbabayad. Hindi siya magbabayad ng interest on December 31. Okay. Equal annual payments every July 1. So, next year pa siya magbabayad. But, if we're going to analyze, meron tayong outstanding na interest on December 31, 12/31/2019. We have interest income. But hindi muna siya magbabayad. Magbabayad siya on July 1 next year. So this is accrued. Accrued interest receivable. And how much is that? Kung pila ang balance, that's 2.8 times 10% nga explicit interest times ilang months lang ang naglapse. From July 1 to December 31. That's July, August, September, October, November, December. So that's 6/12 accrued receivable. That's 140,000. And anyway, it's the same as your it's the same as here on December 31, 2021 kay Solid Company. So that's 12/31/2019. Meron din tayong accrued, tama? Kasi again, hindi siya nagbayad. Sige, naglag pa siya. So, magbabayad siya every May 1. So, we have an accrued interest receivable from kanino to? Solid Company. But the question is how much? Di ba 7.5 and then nagbayad naman siya 2.5, so you have 5 million na lang na balance times your 8%, I mean 9% explicit interest and pila ka months ang naglapse from May 1 to December 31. So that's May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, another 8 months na naglapse. So you have accrued interest of 300,000. And that 300,000 mababayaran siya sa May. So gagawa ka na naman ng ganitong entry on May 1, 2020. And meron ka na namang accrued receivable dyan na 300,000 which you have already recorded on 2019. So, ganun lang. Tuyok-tuyok lang siya ha. So, that will be our entry and our analysis. Although, hindi naman yan ni-require yung entry, but it will be better for us to prepare entries for a better analysis. Now, let us consider kung pila ang current and non-current nga mga receivables, including, ingon pa siya, including the accrued interest. Your accrued interest is actually a current asset, right? So, ato ning i-determine. You add, sige, let's add this together. Okay, before that, ato sa ning i-analyze. We have, sige, naglag siya. For solid company, we have the remaining 5 million, tama? We have 7.5 but we have a remaining 5 million kasi nagbayad na siya during the year. Therefore, on December 31, meron pala siyang ano dito, naka-hide. Tingnan natin kung ano to. Therefore, on December 31, 2019, you only have 5 million na balance. And that 5 million, another 2.5 of that will be collected on May 1, 2019. So from December 31, 2019, you have pila na lang ka months to collect the 2.5. 4 months, right? So that will be considered as current asset. So balik na ko. Outstanding as of 12/31/2019. How much? That is, sinabi ko na to kanina, 5 million. And out of 5 million, ang 2.5 ana is due on May 1, 2020, which is considered a current asset. Tama? And the other one is due on May 1, 2021, which is from 2019, that is non-current asset. Okay? So, mark this one as current asset and this is non-current asset. What else? Imuhang accrued interest receivable. Accrued interest receivable is actually another current asset and that is 300,000. Ba't may underline lagi? That is another current asset. I guess yan lang ang about kay solid. Let's go to the receivable from the officer. And we have the NR outstanding. I guess that was 2 million, tama? 2 million. Question is, kanus ganito siya due? It was due on December 31, 2021. Tama ba? And if it is due on December 31, 2021, I believe that is considered a non-current asset as of 2019. Okay, so that is non-current asset. What else? Kay Boom, we have a receivable of 2.8. Ayan. And magbabayad siya ng 880,000 next year. Pero ang kanang 880,000 including the interest na siya. So pila actually ang principal. So you have here notes. Okay, NR outstanding. Due on, when will that be? July 1, 2020. You have outstanding of 2.8. What will be the due on what amount will be due on July 1, 2020? That's 880, including the principal and interest. So the question is, pila dira ang principal? So interest is actually 10% of the outstanding balance. So that's 28 times 10%. Therefore, that is 280, right? So that's 280,000. So if the interest is 280,000, pila man din ha ang principal? That's 880 minus 280. So you have a principal of 600,000 nga due on July 1, 2020. So the remaining 2.4 2.2 to 200. That will be considered as a non-current asset. Ay, asa naman eh? That will be considered as non-current asset. Okay? So, only 600 ang current asset. So, ayan yung computation. So, ako na lang ni ibalhin yung computation. Okay, para mabutangan na itong label nga current asset. That will be due on July 1, 2021. And then this one is due on 2021 kung kanus mahurot ang iyahang. Kasi sabi niya 4 years, 'di ba? So for the next 3 years after 2020 kaning 2.2 mahimong due. So that's non-current asset. So hindi ko na siya lalagyan ng label kasi masyadong mataas. And then what else? Your accrued interest receivable, which is in the amount of 140,000. That is again another current asset. Okay? So nakuha niya, ma'am, nganong 140 lang man nga atong gi-compute kaganina is 280. 280,000 in total, but as of December 31, 140 lang sa. So the difference of 140,000 will be earned from January 1, 2020 to July 1, 2020. So kaning accrued earned siya from July 1, 2019 to December 31, 2019, which is the date of the preparation of your financial statements 2019. So kana lang sang 140 ang considered na interest income. So let us compute. Okay. How much is your current asset? So i-add lang nato tutanan atong na-identify na current asset. We have 2.5 plus 300 plus 600 plus 140, and I believe that's 3.54 million. Okay? And for your non-current asset, i-add lang po nato tanang na-identify nato. That's 2.5 plus 2 million plus 2.2, and that is 6.7 non-current assets. So that is our problem 6-6. That will be our last problem for notes receivable. Okay? So again, yung ibang problem na hindi po natin na-discuss, I will leave that as your drill. Okay? So on our next topic, loans receivable, we're going to answer some problems. But before that, let us cater some of your questions first. Hindi ko na siya ma-stop recording.